brethren, welcome you to Christ the King Miracle Anglican Church, Gbawe, the house of prayer, word, and fellowship. And now, today's word.
Tell the person sitting at your right that it is good for you to be here. And then turn to the left and tell the person it is good for you to be here. And then tell yourself it is good for me to be here. And the last one, we are saying it together. It is good for us to be here. That is the theme of my message this morning. And from the readings, Exodus chapter 24, 12 to the end, and then 2 Peter 1, 16 to the end, and then Matthew 17, 1 to 9. And for the reading or the account given to us in Matthew, you can see it in the other two synoptic gospels. That is, you can see it in Mark chapter 9, verse 2 to 9, and then see it also in Luke chapter 9, verse 28 to 36. Our grace course. There are some that Matthew said, like Luke didn't say. Some that Luke said, the other ones didn't say. So maybe I will interchange the story. From the beginning of the reading, he says, after 6 days, Jesus takes Peter, James, John into a high mountain. Matthew chapter 17, verse 1. And you can find the same thing in Luke 9, 2, and that of Mark 9, 2, and that of the Luke also. Meaning that there is an event that has happened. After that event, 6 days after, he took these 3 disciples, Peter, James, and John, to a high mountain. And on that mountain, he was transfigured. In the presence of these 3 men, Peter, James, and John, they saw what was going to happen when you and I will go to heaven. Just a little. Watch on Bibi Kekrebi or mountain hall. And I thank God that I stand before you to share that glory that they see on that day. And I thank God that I believe in Him. And I also thank God that you also believe in Him and His resurrection. Peter said in verse 5 of Mark and in Matthew chapter 17 verse 4, Lord, it is good for us to be here. Peter saw all that was happening around him. He didn't understand what was happening, but he knew that he was in a good place. We travel through this life. We find ourselves in all kinds of places. Some are okay, and some definitely are not okay. There are valleys and mountains that falls everywhere between the two extremes. Today, Matthew is helping us to go through this journey that we find ourselves in. I believe we can be at a good place and not even recognize that we are in a good place. Some of us will be in a good place, but yet we will not be recognized that we are in a good place. You might be in a valley, but that valley might be a good place for you. You might be in time of physical pain, emotional trouble, financial difficulties, or any of the 10,000 other kinds of trial, but you still might be in a good place. It is not only about having money that is you are in a good place, but you can be in all this situation, but still you can't know or see that you are in a good place. So one will ask, how do I recognize a good place? How will I recognize a good place? Peter recognized a good place and said, God, it is good that we are here. One, for us to recognize a good place, the special people. The special people. The special people at this event was the 2 Old Testament people, Moses, Elijah, together with Jesus. they made the place a good place. It's not about Peter, it's not about John, or any of the disciples. But these three people made that place to be a good place. So it will not be in disorder for me to say this morning that I am in a good place. I am in a good place because you are a special people. Because you are very, very special. Jesus took 3 of his men. He could have taken all that well. Or maybe knowing everything, could have taken 11, excluding Judas. But he decided to take 3. And these 3 are the inner circle. Jesus many a times go to places and he goes with these 3 people. The question this morning is, will Jesus select you to be part of his inner circle? If Jesus should be here today, we are special. But if he is to choose, will you be part of the inner circle? Another one said that God does not have favorites, but he does have intimates. God does not have favorites, but he has intimates. So if you are going to have that intimacy with God, then God will choose you. Just as he chose the 3. So for you being here, for you being special, to be here for me being here means that we are in a good place. Because you are special. God is choosing you this morning. He is not bothered about anonymous. He is choosing you or her, including me. But permit me to say again that because you are special people, my stay here is very, very special. The second one, special place. Special place. Many a time, it is the special people make that place very special. It's because of you, that is why this place is special. That is why it is good for me to be here, and it is good for you also to be here. Because when you come to church, you see special people. I don't know. Jesus took his disciple on the mountain, the high mountain. It is not literally the mountain that we are talking about this morning. The mountain that we are talking about is here. Because you are special, because Christ is special, you are here, so this place is special. Because you are special, because you have come here, and because Christ has made you special, when you go home, your home also becomes special place. Because you are special, when you go to your workplace, you become very special. So wherever you find yourself, it is a special place because you are a special person. The high mountain. 2 Peter chapter 2, 2 Peter chapter 1, 16 to 18. Peter recognized here the point, if you really know the Lord, there will be some mountaintop times with him. So Peter was able to recognize that it's not the mountain that we are talking about, but wherever we find ourselves, because we have a relationship with God. Because Christ is, we are. And for that reason, wherever we go, because we are special people, that place becomes special. And that the glory of God will be on you. Yeah. Sometimes you go to a place and you don't feel like going home. True of us. Why? Sometimes you go to a place and you are in a hurry to go home. Why? You are not in a hurry to go home. Because that place is special. Because when anything that you want to talk about, you can talk about it. You feel free. You go and open the fridge, take whatever you want to take. Because you are in that special place. Because you are special. The special presentation. Jesus was transfigured. Means that he was changed in appearance. The transfiguration is the revelation of God's glory. And for that reason, that same presentation, that special presentation will be on you. Wherever you find yourself, you see the glory of God on you. Places that people don't go. Because you are special. Because you come from a special place. And because of that presentation on you, you become special and they will treat you as special as that. Because the glory of God is on you. And anytime you see him moving around you, doing great and marvelous things that people don't understand. Even in your sickness, you realize that you are in a good place because it is happening to you because you are special. And for that reason, God is in his special way working his miracle out. The two heavenly visitors, Moses, Elijah. What happened was no mystery to Jesus. He came not to abolish the law, but to fulfill the law. Anything that Moses did about the law was pointing to one person. Anything that Elijah did about his prophecies was pointing to one thing. Pointing to the perfection of Jesus Christ. That indeed he is the law. Indeed he is the prophet. He is the one that they have been prophesying about. So don't worry. Before you were born, God knew you. That is why you are special. And you are in a special place. And you do special things. The heavenly voice. Luke chapter 9 verse 32 says that when that voice came, the same story. But Luke is saying that when that voice came, Peter, James, and John, they were asleep. They got up and they realized that things are happening. I am telling you, special people of God, be in a special place, that it is good you are here today, is that when you sleep, things will happen. When you sleep, and I'm not talking about sleeping as in that, but if you refuse to pray, things will happen. And out of the sleep, Mark 9:6 says that Peter didn't know what to say. Wadao. Oh, sorry, no. But he was able to recognize, even in his sleep, that they were in a good place. I'm not sure Peter, James, John, they've seen Moses and Elijah before. But as to how they recognize him, for Peter to say that, Lord, it is good for us to be here. Let us make 3 tents. One for Moses, one for Elijah, and one for you. For Jesus, they knew. They were with him. But what about Elijah and Moses? It takes revelation. For you to be in a good place, it takes revelation. For you to know that indeed I am in a good place. God is saving us from a lot of trouble. Because of that revelation, we find ourselves in good places. You are here because you are in a good place. Watch around. When we close from church today, if you are focusing someone arguing, but pass your mind back to last week. After church, people were still around. Why? Because this is a good place to be. And the question is your house also a good place for people to come? Is your workplace a good place for people also to come? When people come there, will they be in a hurry to go? Because I know you people. That is why it is good for me to be here. But if you are not, and when people come to your house, they feel like going home. They feel like time is going. They are wasting their time. Meanwhile, they have nothing doing in the house. Please, watch out. Let your house be a good place for people to come. Not to come and gossip. Not to come and beg for money. Not to come and talk about people. Not to come with whatever it is. Let your house be a good place, because when they come, whatever problems they come with, you have solutions for them. Many a times it's not about money. Many a times it is not about food. Many a times it is what you tell them. Many a times it is how you relate with them. They know very well that when they come to your house, it is not about money. They won't get money. They won't get food, but it is what you tell them. So they always feel like being around you. If you are not, as Christ is telling us today, that we should be at a good place, then have a change of mind, change of attitude, because Christ is making you special today for you to be in a special place. Peter might miss a lot of things, but there was one thing that he didn't miss, to recognize that he was in a good place. But let me tell you that for you knowing that you were in a good place at Christ the King, Miracle Anglican Church, then you will not leave things go astray. You put things in order. You will not make his room dirty. You will not watch things go astray. So, at the project there, as we have decided building, as we have decided to make his house a better place for us to be in a good place, then they will call on us next week to start giving. If you know you are in a good place, you give all that you have to it. It is my prayer that as we have recognized that we are in a good place, we will give to the projects there. We will not wait till harvest. That anytime God blesses us, we will recognize that this place is a good place. So let me go and give to the glory of God. In a good place, you should be able to examine the glory of God. So when you come and you see the building done, completed, painted, and we are using it, then you know that yes, indeed, the glory of God is here because you are in a good place. When you put your money in, when you put your resource in, his greatness will be exalted. People will see, yes, indeed, Christ the King. They are doing it again. And people will see that greatness and will exalt God. And as they exalt God, you will be the beneficiary. You experience his grace. Because as you give, because you are in a good place, his grace will always be in abundance. And anytime you speak to him, he will hear you. Remember, I said, because you are in a good place, because you are a special person, you go to your house as a special person and your house becomes a special place. And for that reason, that greatness, that grace will be on your household. And you can testify to the glory of God that none of your children, none of your grandchildren will fall sick because of the grace that is abound in the house. I challenge you to get yourself to Jesus today and get the help you need to get into a good place today. I know you are in a good place already, but if you are lacking, please get up and tell God that God, I want to be in a good place. And in that good place, let it be in my house also. Let it be in my family house also. Let it be in my workplace and wherever that I find myself. Let people see that I am a good person because I come from a good place. People identify us by our names. People identify us by our family. So if you are in a good place, then go out there and be a good person. And wherever you find yourself, let people see that I am indeed a good place. May the Lord bless us. May the Lord help us to recognize that indeed we are in a good place and that we are going to give to his glory. That this building will end it, we will finish it. That people will see the greatness of God in us. People will see that indeed we are in a good place and others will come to join us to be in a good place because we are good people. In Jesus' name.
Thank you for listening to today's word. We hope you've been blessed. Join us this and every Sunday for our divine services. First service at 7:30 a.m. and second service at 9:30 a.m. You can also connect with us on our various social media platforms. God richly bless you.